Well, a very hearty good afternoon to each and everyone present live. Friends, on behalf of Dhenkanal Science Center, a unit of National Council of Science Museums, Ministry of Culture, Government of India, I welcome you all for this live session. At the outset, I welcome Dr. G.C. Sahu, Senior Manager, NTPC Limited, Talcher Super Thermal Power Station, Angul, Odisha. Friends, as you all know, today we are commemorating National Technology Day. This day highlights the achievements of engineers and scientists in the field of technology and science. This day acts as a reminder of our country's technological advances. This day holds great importance because of this because on this particular day, 11th May 1998, India achieved multiple notable technological progressions. Since 1999, all across India, 11th May is being celebrated as National Technology Day. On this day, India successfully test fired Shakti 1 nuclear missile in Pokhran. 2 days later, on 13th May 1998, our country conducted two more nuclear tests as a part of the same operation, following which India, means our country, joined the elite club of nuclear power nations. On the same day, India successfully test fired Trishul missile, which added another feather to the cap of Defense Research and Development Organization of India. Also on the same day, India tested the indigenously designed and developed Hansa 3 aircraft. So these technological achievements, to commemorate this, since 1999, every year, uh, 11th May is being celebrated as a National Technology Day. So on this special occasion, I welcome you all, and to enlighten us, today we have with us Dr. G.C. Sahu. He is the Senior Manager in NTPC Limited at Kania. Let me introduce Dr. Sahuji. Dr. G.C. Sahu is working in NTPC Limited since 2002. So almost during these 2 decades of experience, he has been working with various responsibilities in different departments like environment, technical services, chemistry department of NTPC Limited. He has joined in NSPCL Rourkela in the year 2002, then transferred to Baraha Super Thermal Power Station, Patna, and at present he is working as senior manager on chemistry at Talchel Super Thermal Power Station, Kania. Welcome, Sahu sir. And he has completed his MSc from Barampur University in the year 1995. Then he did his MPhil and PhD from Utkal University, Bhubaneswar. Prior to joining in NTPC, uh, Dr. Sahu was a research scholar in present IMMT Bhubaneswar for 1 year, and besides that, he was teaching in teaching profession in chemistry department of Maharshi College of Natural Law, Bhubaneswar, KITS Bhubaneswar, and Christ College, Cuttack. These are the renowned organizations. Dr. Sahu did his PhD in polymer chemistry and has published 5 numbers of papers in different journals of national and international repute. So today we have with us Dr. G.C. Sahuji, and we are really privileged that Dr. Sahu is with us, and on this special occasion, he will enlighten and he'll deliver a lecture on theme opportunity and challenges in thermal power plants. So I'm sure his deliberation will enrich and enlighten all of us. I won't take much time. I don't want to stand between you and Dr. Sahu. Now, I request Dr. G.C. Sahuji, please enlighten us. Dr. Sahu, now the platform is yours, sir.
Thank you, sir. Let me get some time to share my presentation. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible. It's visible, sir. Continue.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Good evening to you all. On the eve of National Technology Day, I would like to welcome you all to this program. Sir already described myself, Dr. G.C. Sahu. I am here to deliver a lecture on opportunity and the challenges of a thermal power plant. Now, in this presentation or in this session, we will start our presentation from our home, how power is used in our home, from the usage part to our production and generation part in thermal power plant, as well as what are the present pros and cons of generating power. In specific to, I have to here describe something about the environment concern what we are facing today. In this at present scenario, environment is the main concern. So I specifically gave thoughts on this presentation, how this thermal power plant, they are developing their technology to meet these environment challenges. And on this technological day, we also describe different technological upgradation, how we are meeting in our day-to-day operation of this thermal power plant. Before I start up this lecture program, I would like to thank Dhenkanal Science Center, especially to Sri M.M. Raut sir and his entire team for giving me an opportunity to present me before you. Now, sir, this is what is power. Now, generally, we are considering here the power is the electrical power. So, power is the rate per unit time at which electrical energy is transferred by an electric circuit. And its SI unit is watt. Now, you see, in our house, we are taking, we are using different electrical appliances. which are consuming power on daily basis. Consuming in our day-to-day life. For example, if we consider this a bulb, if you go down the line, now the technological evolution has reached from incandescent lamp to CFL to LED generation. Now we are in our house, we are using LED tube lights, LED lights, and all these things. But if you go down the line of 10 years only, then you will see we were used to using this incandescent lamp, and its power is 100 watt. It indicates if we blow this light for 1 hour, then we consume 100 watt of electricity. In the similar fashion, if we blow this bulb for 10 hours, then it consumes 1000 watt or 1 unit of electricity. Before 10 years, the 15 watts bulb was called as a 0 watt bulb. But now this 15 watt bulb is sufficient to light our street also. So this indicate that how rapidly our technology is being changed on day-to-day basis. In 10 years before, even we are using CRT our home. Accordingly, we are paying on, to the government. That number of units generally measured as 1000 watt or 1 unit. Now it is. Now we'll discuss various type of energy. What is available in our nature, or what is available in front of us for our use. The energy is categorically divided into two types. One is renewable energy and another is non-renewable energy. In renewable energy front, this is the source. For the production of any energy, we need some raw material. But in renewable energy front, the raw material are never finished. They can be used any time up to any extent of time. Means they do not deplete with their consumption. Such energy example are solar power, wind power, tidal power, hydropower, geothermal power, bioenergy power. Now we all know this solar, wind, tidal, hydro, and geothermal power little bit, but this bioenergy, it is a very burning topic now. That the situation we have just faced in the last 2 to 3 years in Delhi environment.
Excuse
The
me,
environment of Delhi
Sahu
is
sir.
getting.
Excuse me, Sahu sir.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
please share the slides? जो slides गुड़ाक
Yes, sir.
share ହେଇପାରୁନି.
सर ମୁଁ ତ ସାର୍ ସ୍ଲାଇଡ ଟା ଦେଖେଇଛି ସାର୍ 2 ନମ୍ବର ସ୍ଲାଇଡ ଟା
हाँ ये केवल फास्ट स्लाइड रे अछि एबे हमको देखाउजी
चेंज होउनी
ना
सर
सर
कोन करा
आउथरे
दिबो
प्रेजेंट नाउ को जाई कि करंतु एटा को एंड करी कि ये स्लाइड
एटा
टा को
सर स्टॉप एबे देखा जाउ
हां हां एबे आछि या इट्स कमिंग या
एबे एमी थाउनले
हां हां या इट्स फाइन
सर आ के मु जूम कर दउची
हाँ जूम कर दियंतु तापरे आपण से नेक्स्ट स्लाइड की जिबा पूर्वरु टिके सेटा सिलेक्ट कर देथिबे स्ट्रीमिंग रे टिके लेट हो
हां अच्छा एबे सर कोन फुल स्क्रीन जूम फुल स्क्रीन करी ना एमती रखी
ठीक है एब्सोल्युटली इट्स फाइन या
अच्छा then sir this is biological bioenergy that the waste the farmers are used to burn in their field in Haryana and Punjab, that creates a very havoc situation in New Delhi. Because of that, government of India has taken various initiative to consume this waste of this agriculture product in a very creative way. They have prepared various type of pellets. Even in NTPC, we are using these bioenergy pellets for the production of electric energy in place of coal. But 100% coal is not replaced replaced by bioenergy, but part 0.1%, in 0.1%, we are using these biopellets for the production of the energy in substitute of coal. Now in non-renewable front, we are using coal, natural gas, and this is nuclear energy. So coal energy is basically the thermal power energy, what we will discuss in our entire lecture session. And natural gas, that is gas plant, and nuclear plant. In nuclear plant, India has very limited generation capacity at present, but it has a plan to form a 1000 megawatts in different stage of progress of time. Now if you see the energy scenario, that is of power in different of different renewable and non-renewable energy, then you can see the 61% is your non-renewable energy, and the rest for 39% is renewable energy, in which hydro is 12% and nuclear is 2% only, and other resources are 25%. If you this compared with this with the last 3 years, then in the year 2019-20 it was 71, and 2020 what 18-19, in the year 2018-19 it was 71%, the non-renewable energy, and next year just previous year it was 68%, but this year it is in the 2021 it is 61% only. This indicates that we are decreasing our non-renewable energy consumption or generation and increasing the renewable energy form, because this non-renewable energy are produce a huge amount of environmental pollutants, and it is the most polluting source of energy, polluting source. That's why Government of India, and as per our Kyoto Protocol and other statutory mandates, we are always trying to optimize this non-renewable energy to minimum form and increasing our generation of this renewable energy form. This is the power generation of India. If you see, in the year when our India got independence, only 509 megawatt of energy was produced. But in the year 2019, that 5 megawatt changed to 805 billion units of electricity. And if you compare it with 2019-20, then it is 1389 billion units, and here in the year 2021 it has touched 1409 billion units of energy. Means this power consumption or power generation is increasing with time. Not only we are using power in our household only, we are also using this power for the different running of different industries in our country. The high power consuming industries are steel industries, aluminum industries, etc. So these power industries, if we compare with the world scenario, then you can see the China is the producer of highest energy, that is 33%. Next to China is India, and next to India USA, and next to USA is India. India is a third position in generation of power as well as a consumption of power. And if you similarly, if you see in the right hand side the graph, then this indicate how exponentially we have increased our power generation from 1950 to 2019. Means it is an exponential growth in power generation. For this generation means we cannot store power for our next generation. What you generate, you must have use it in a continuous manner. We have to use it. That's why it is a form of energy which cannot be stored. This thermal power cannot be stored for the subsequent use, but it is a continuous generation and utilization process. Now, sir, it is a schematic diagram of a thermal power plant in which it has been described the different components and different raw materials and different major equipments used in thermal power plant. From this picture, you can easily see, you can easily find out what are the major components are used, or what are the major equipments are used in thermal power plant. This is a boiler, sir. Here the
Yeah, using cursor, please point.
yes, yes, sir. I'm just, sir. Is it showing, sir, cursor?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this is a boiler, and for the burning of this boiler, or for the light of this boiler, we use coal. We use coal, and this coal is being supplied by our all the coal companies, whatever present in India. In addition to this, we are also importing some coal from outside country, like Indonesia, etc. So this coal, when burned, it produces a huge amount of energy, and that energy is used to create heat, and it warm up the water. And the hot water, when pass through this, then it move towards the turbine. Turbine is nothing but it is a number of blades with a rotating shaft, and when this steam goes through the turbine, then the turbine will rotate such a speed that it is connected to the generator in the subsequent state, and in generator produce electric energy, and this electric energy is connect to the transformer. This is step down transformer, because at the generation end the voltage is very high, so step down transformer is used, and after this step down transformer it is connected to the grid, and this grid helps to supply to other the retailers or any other agencies who need it. Then after cooling of this water is this is called drip of this water. After going through the turbine, this is this water condensed, and by means of another water source. This water source is called through cooling tower. This structure is called cooling tower, and this cooling tower is used to cool down the water from the turbine. Again, this water is goes through this boiler, and it is a very moving in a cyclic process. This cyclic process is called Rankine cyclic process. You see, during the combustion of this coal, it produces a huge amount of heat and a huge amount of ash also, because in our Indian coal, the ash content is nearly 50 to 60% ash content. That 50 means if you burn 100 kg of coal, then it produces 50 to 60 kg of ash. That ash is collected, part of the ash is collected here, but most of the part of the 20% is collected in this bottom ash header, and 80% ash pass through this precipitator. This is called electrostatic precipitator, in which a huge voltage of current is used to trap all the dust particles which is generated by means of a combustion of a coal. Because this coal what you are using here, the size of the coal is very less, that is 212 micron only. It is a fine dust particles, and that fine dust particles is precipitated in the electrostatic precipitator here. And after the precipitation, the rest residue gas goes out to the atmosphere through this stack. You see, what is this stack? You all must have seen this stack in different power plant. The stack height of a small power plant depend upon the amount of percentage of sulfur present in the ash. But for a bigger power plant, we'll discuss type of power plant. In case of a bigger power plant, the stack height is 275 meter, and in two stack height is there. For 500 and less megawatt, it is 225. 500 plus above, it is 275-meter height. So it is 275-meter height from the ground level. Here is the turbine. The turbine rotate at a speed which is 3,000 rpm. That is 3,000 in our house. this power is 50 hertz power. 50 hertz power means 50 blinks. If you observe a incandescent lamp from the very closely, then you will see the lamps are not glowing steadily. They are blinking 50 times per second, and this is 3000 revolution, means 50 times per second into when it convert to minute, then 50 into 60, that is 3000 revolution. These turbine blades are rotating per minute. Then sir, depending upon the temperature and pressure of the power plant, the power plants are divided into three types. One is subcritical, then is supercritical, and next is ultra supercritical. In technological front, this is nothing but the change in pressure and temperature of the water what you are using in your boiler, the operating conditions, and accordingly on the basis of operating conditions, the boilers are of a different type. Again, they produce pollutants of the relatively different extent, of different amount of pollutants they emit, and the efficiency also increase from subcritical to ultracritical boiler. If you compare the efficiency of the boiler, then it is only 35% in case of a subcritical boiler, but supercritical boiler it is 38%, and ultra supercritical boiler it is 42%. You see, in subcritical boiler generally it is, and a supercritical boiler it is less than 500 is subcritical, 500 and above is supercritical, and 1000 above is ultra, 1000 and 1000 above is called ultra supercritical. At present, there is no ultra supercritical boiler in India. US, China, they are having ultra supercritical boiler having 1000 megawatt generation capacity. Means one unit generate capacity is 1000 megawatt. But in India, we are having supercritical boiler of 800. Highest is the 800 megawatt capacity. And here at Talcher Kania, we are having 500 megawatt 6 boilers. Means we are generating 3000 megawatt power per hour. This is our generation capacity. And other small boilers, they are coming under subcritical boilers. This is purely depends upon the critical temperature of water. It is another field where we will see that at above critical and temperature of water, then both gas vapor phase and the liquid phase behave same, give same vapor pressure. And this technology is used here in supercritical and ultra supercritical boiler. Now, if we will discuss about the raw material what we are using in our thermal power plant, then basically the primary source of energy or the primary raw material is here coal. And coal is being supplied, as earlier I told that it is being received from both indigenous and imported ore. The indigenous coal is having very high ash content, but the sulfur content is very less. In the same fashion, if we compare with imported coal, then the sulfur content is nearly 1%, but the ash percent is very low, even 5 to 15%. This is the ash percent is only 5 to 15%, but sulfur content is very high as compared to Indian coal, that is 1%. Then to start the during the startup of this boiler or power plant, we are using HFO and LDO. HFO means heavy fuel oil, that is the crude form of the diesel petroleum product, and LDO light diesel oil. And the next is the water. Water is a very critical parameter or critical raw material used in thermal power plant, because what different form of water is used. In boiler, we are using DM water. DM water means all the dissolved and undissolved components of the water is removed. Means pure H2O is used in the boiler, which is a huge quantity. For that, separate setup is there for the production of DM water, and including that for the cooling of the condenser or condensate water, we are using CW cooling water. condensate cooling water, that is that water is also different chemical is used to check the corrosion, to check the scaling, and to check the precipitation of this dissolved solid in water. Including that, we are using also different potable water for the drinking purpose and service water for different other purpose. Means different type of water we are using in our thermal power plant. Now, what are the opportunities that why you are using this coal based energy, or coal using coal for the production of energy? Rather, other opportunities are there. Means as we discussed earlier, that solar, wind, tidal, geo tidal, and this biofossil and geothermal, hydro, different form of energy are there. But why you are using, we are mostly depend upon this coal of thermal power? Because it is easily available. The coal availability in India, if you consider, then at present, what is the estimated, what is the operating mines, what is the amount of coal is there, then that can sustain, or that can go up to 20 to 30 years consumption. But the estimated quantity and what is present all around the world, if you consider, then that will cater our requirement up to 100 to 300 years. Means a huge amount of coal is stored in this earth for the to meet our requirement. Then second point is the sustainable generation and power supply. If you consider this, if you compare with this solar, wind, tidal, hydro, and other form of energy, then other form of energy are very conditional. Means for solar, we need direct sun radiations. In the daytime only, a solar system can work, or in the bad weather, the solar system will not work and not generate any energy. And similar, if wind is there, then wind power can be produced. If tidal is there, then tidal power is produced. But this whole power or thermal power, it is independent of all external factors. So it mostly independent to all external factors. It does not mean that it is 100% they need consistent supply of power. Without consistent sustainable generation and supply of power is required for the industrial revolution or industrial growth or industrial operation. Then cost of power is very less. If you compare this with just last to last year, the cost of power, if you compare this cost with solar power, then solar power was 7 rupees, and this power is 2.5 rupees, almost 3 rupees. But now, because of the competitiveness, but now because of the competitiveness, the cost of generation is come down. The thermal coal power generation is come down to 2 rupees even. And in the similar fashion, the development of technology also change the power solar power generation to almost 2 rupees per kilowatt. Means now it is comparable, it is same to same with coal power generation. But there is some advantage and disadvantage in solar power and in thermal power. Because of that, the solar power is not taking the dominating state, but rather coal power or thermal power is taking the dominating stage now. Now it is safe power. If we compare with nuclear power, then nuclear power, we can produce nuclear power in the same sustainable way on which we are generating the thermal power. But in case of this nuclear power, the hello, in case of this nuclear power, the safety concern is very high because of these radioactive elements. And in Indian context, the radioactive elements what are you are using for the production of this nuclear power, that is not available friendly in India. and we must have to import it from either from France or the USA for the production of thermal power. That's why the development is the production of nuclear power is not developing in that way. But other source of energy, renewable source of energy, they are integrating like anything. And at the same fashion, though coal, the thermal power is decreasing. Now this is the challenges of thermal power plant. For operating, commissioning, and maintenance of a thermal power plant, we are facing different challenges that include social challenges, economical challenges, political challenges, and policy scenarios. So we now will discuss only the policy scenarios or things which are directly giving impact to environment. We will discuss that only, and all political, economical, social, that is different topic. Now we will discuss this. What is the impact of this thermal power plant to environment? You see, sir, this, though we are having all the environmental measures, but because of change in policies, the environmental concern is also increasing. And to meet this environmental concern, generally when coal is burned, this thermal plant, first let me clear first that this thermal power plant is coming under red category industry. Red category industry means is a highly polluting industry, and it is, since it is giving a high pollution load to the environment, so it is red category industries, and it has a great impact to the environment also. That great impact comes from suspended particulate matter, SPM, SOx means sulfur dioxide, and NOx. These NOx means NOx, nitrogen oxides. These gases are mostly generated when we burn coal in our boiler. As I told that 1 kilowatt of energy required nearly 600 to 700 kg of a coal. Means if you compare, suppose I am using 5 unit of electricity, means 5 kilowatt of electricity in my home, then correspondingly we are here burning 5 into 6 means 300 5 unit 6 60%. If 60% is the that is specific coal consumption, suppose consider it is 0.6, then 5.6 means 300 kg of a coal for the production of 5 unit of electricity. So this burning of coal produce a huge quantity of suspended particulate matter, SOx and NOx. To arrest this suspended particulate of matter, we are modifying our ESP, electrostatic precipitator, or sometimes we are also installing new setup for the trapping all the particulate matter from our coal combustion process. Then for the reduction of the SOx, as I told earlier, that the SOx and the sulfur content of coal, of Indian coal, is 0.5 to 0.5%, and the imported coal is 1% almost. So the as to comply the mandates of the government of India and the pollution control board, state pollution control board and central pollution control board, then we are installing FGD, flue gas desulfurization system. It is again a big setup. This is a completely a big setup in which we will decrease the SOx generation of our from thermal power plant. And the similar fashion, we are also using some catalytic burner and low NOx burner in our boiler for the reduction of NOx also. And these installments or these changes, they are also changing with the time, and accordingly the technology is also changed to mitigate all these mandates, to comply all the mandates of government agencies. Another things which is create a very big problem to this thermal power plant, that is handling of ash. The nearly 50 to 60% of ash is generated. If you burn 1 kg of coal, then it gives nearly 600 gram of ash. And handling of ash, we it is a very hectic process in thermal power plant, but we are always taking equal precaution so that the ash should not go outside the plant or outside the ash disposal area, so that the people who are residing all around the ash disposal area, they should take their fresh air from without hampering anything. For that, different ash utilization strategies are being taken by NTPC as well as all thermal power station to handle this ash. So this is all about my lecture about sir presentation on thermal power plant. Now I request all the audience, they may ask any question to in this session, in this presentation. Sir, over to you, sir.
Yeah. All our viewers are requested to post their queries in the chat box so that we can get it
Oh,
clarified from Dr. Sau sir.
okay, sir.
Well, you have not yet received any query. We'll end up the session over here, and even an earnest request to our viewers, if you have any query or any question related to Dr. Sau's presentation, you can write to us our email ID or in our social media pages, and we'll get you clarified. Before we disperse, um, I wholeheartedly thank Dr. G.C. Sauji for sparing his hectic schedule. Even with a short notice, he has accepted our request and delivered the lecture. So, on behalf of the family members of Denkanal Science Center, a unit of National Council of Science Museums, Ministry of Culture, Government of India, I wholeheartedly thank Dr. Sau sir.
Thank you, sir.
In future also, we'll take your help because of this pandemic situation. Now everything, all our programs we are conducting online.
Sure,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. Thanks a lot. We'll
Sir.
end the
Yes,
session. Thank you.
sir. Thank you, sir. The imported coal is 1%.